Good day, viewers. My name is Eunice Obrotimi. You are welcome to another episode of Justice for You, brought to you by Effort Foundation, an organization that renders free legal representation to indigent and innocent inmates. And so, we focus basically at victims of police brutality and those that have been wrongfully incarcerated. Today, I have here with me Olalade Fashionati. You are welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
Please, can we meet you?
I'm Olalade Justina Fashionati. I'm a lawyer called to the Nigerian Bar.
We hear of cases of sexual harassment. So, can you kindly educate us on what you mean by sexual harassment?
Thank you very much. Sexual harassment is a forced way in which an individual forces another person against his or her consent to actually have sexual activity with. This doesn't necessarily have to be penetration or sexual intercourse. It could even be just looking at somebody in a sexual way or making somebody feel so uncomfortable. So sexual harassment happens in various ways and measures. It can be in the workplace, it can be between employers and employees, it can be it can be amongst employees, and it can just be between even the partners and maybe another senior partner. So it just happens as it is, but it doesn't necessarily have to be sexual intercourse, as I said earlier, but rather any sexual activity whatsoever, looking in an untoward way, touching in a way that you don't like, or anything you can just think of. So that is what sexual harassment is.
So, having explained the concept of sexual harassment, can you give us instances of when you can say that sexual harassment has taken place?
Okay, like I said earlier, like sexual harassment occurs in different ways and different measures. For example, I need a job and I went for an interview. Then the interviewer told me that for me to get this job, or for me to be qualified, that I'm already qualified for me to get this job, I have to give him something for something. And this something I said, maybe I have to have an intimate relationship with him. That is an instance of sexual harassment. Or even a student, I had an issue with my results, and I went to report to the lecturer. And the lecturer said, okay, for me to even attend to you at all, you need to give me something for something. Then there needs to be an exchange. Sexual harassment. It could even be between pastor, cleric, and even worshippers in the church. But then, sexual harassment is between will I say a boss and a subordinate, because the victim in quotes is usually more like a subordinate to the other person, where you are in a position not to really say no. So you are not consenting, but in a way, you just don't have a choice, because this is more like a boss or a senior person too.
So, okay, now looking at the instances that you have given, can we say sexual harassment can occur in a workplace, being a corporate environment?
In as much as we have humans, anywhere we have humans, sexual harassment is just bound to happen, it's bound to occur. So even in work, like, in fact, I can really say sexual harassment is really common at the workplace. That's why I feel like it's a corporate environment. And funny thing is, you'll be surprised a lot of people that are involved in this sexual harassment of a thing are learned people, are people that you really should not even expect them to do this. But then it is very common, and you see, and with the way sex has been dignified now, the way it's been going, you see people even looking at you that what's the big deal in it? Just do it. Nobody will get to know. So it really happens. Like, we can't even rule that out at all.
So can sexual harassment have any negative impact on the productivity of victims at workplace?
I believe anything harassment, either sexual or non-sexual, actually has its negative impact and consequences. So now, bringing it to the issue at hand, which is sexual harassment. Now let me give you an instance. I'm an employee, and my boss has been harassing me sexually. I really don't want to give in, because I can't give him what he wants. Anytime I'm coming to the office, I'm just not myself because I already know that this man is going to come again. And because of that, my mind, my brain, everything is preoccupied with this man will come again. It will be quite difficult, although not impossible, but it will be very difficult for me to really put my mind in my work. So it is a lot of people that have this sexual harassment issues, they have psychological and mental imbalance, and it really affects people. So you can't tell me that somebody that is not psychologically balanced will be able to now put his best, his or her best in his work. And let me correct, sexual harassment even happens from even female bosses to their male subordinates. But of course, you know that it is just generally common with male subordinates and male bosses and female subordinates. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't happen with me. So imagine somebody that really has that at the workplace. You just know that anytime you go home, you have this type of support when you are at home. When you are going to the office again, you get to think and you are already bothered that I'm going to this office again. Can this man just not come? If the man, once you see the man, you're already off balance. So it will definitely have a store on your work. So it really does have negative consequences.
So for victims of sexual harassment, particularly at the workplace, are there any laws protecting them? And if yes, how can we seek protection under these laws?
Will I say sadly now? I really don't know. But there are no laws for sexual harassment in the workplace. But then the Constitution in Section 254 still provides that anybody that is laid off as a result of sexual harassment can actually proceed to the National Industrial Court and seek redress. But basically, just like sexual harassment, like every other challenges you face in your workplace, you report to your HR manager, that's Human Resources Manager, and you can tell the person. But what happens where the oppressor is even the HR manager? So all we can do now is just to find, despite the fact that there are no laws basically or specifically for sexual harassment, it still doesn't rule out the fact that if you are sexually harassed, you can still approach the court for redress for sexual harassment. So there are basically no laws. But since the incidence of this sex remarks that was actually out sometime last year or early this year, different state governments and even national assembly are already trying to bring out laws for sexual harassment. So hopefully, very soon, we will have a specific law for sexual harassment. But for now, even the Labour Act, a lot of times we see trade unions, labor unions, we see them fighting for increments in salary, but we really don't get them talk about harassment of their staff. So I think what we can just do is report to the HR. If the HR can do something, good for you. And if the HR, maybe the HR cannot go, maybe it's a senior partner that even the HR cannot talk to, then your worst scenario or your worst option is for you to quit or resign from your place if you cannot continue. But then you can always go to court to seek advice.
So majorly, the fear of losing one's job usually the reason for reasons why victims remain silent. So is there a way victims can report their abusers and still have their jobs secured?
I think that's what I just explained. But you can't. There's this detail that you can't just force a willing employee on an unwilling employer. So let's assume now that even the employer or maybe the sexual harassment between, this is because we are assuming that the sexual harassment is between an employer and an employee. So let's assume now that the employee loses his or her job as a result of the sexual harassment, as a result of not giving in to the sexual harassment. You can approach the National Industrial Court for that. In as much as you have and of course, we are in this technology age. But you can't just assert without proof. You can't just say somebody is harassing you without any proof, because the court is not, it doesn't practice witchcraft. I'll just say, okay, it's true. So in a way, you just have to back up your claims. Either you record or you make just make sure that you have your claims and proof documented. And you can just approach the court for it.
So what can you say is the current punishment for offenders if they are any?
Like I explained earlier, that we really do not have specific laws or a specific law for sexual harassment. But, for example, now I believe that basically, if a person should lose his or her job as a result of sexual harassment, and you go to the National Industrial Court, for example, you can be entitled to either damages or maybe the person will be imprisoned, or you can also be compensated. So there are different, but there is no, like, say there is no specific law, there can really be no specific punishment as to it. But once we now have the laws, then we can now have specific punishment. But as at now, we don't have any specific punishment. But then that doesn't mean that there is no punishment. Just that it depends on the weight of your evidence, what you have, and if really you are able to prove your case, then to the discretion of the court, they'll be able to know how your oppressor will be punished.
Alright. When a victim of sexual harassment gives in, this will be regarded as sexual harassment.
It's just like he's saying a 12-year-old girl consented to sex, and that is not rape. At that point, she really did not, maybe she didn't just know. But now, in the instance of sexual harassment, it depends. How was the consent gotten? Was it gotten under duress? Was it under threat? Or was it under intimidation? See, in the workplace, there is nothing stopping two adults consenting to having sex. There is nothing. So if two adults consent to having sex, that is not sexual harassment. But if a boss is actually harassing a subordinate, or let's say another employee or somebody in an advantage position is trying to take advantage of another person by way of sexual activity or sexual activity or anything sexual, then that is where sexual harassment comes in. But now, if you are telling me that if you don't agree, then you are going to lose your job, and because I know that this is my only source of livelihood, I'll be like, okay, fine, let me consent. Not because I really want it, but because I want to keep my job. So at that instance, I only consent as a result of threat and intimidation. So that is not even consent ab initio, but rather it was a consent gotten from duress, threat, or intimidation. But if it was a consent freely given, then that is not sexual harassment. But so far it was given under duress, it's still sexual harassment.
Alright, so you said there are no specific laws regarding sexual harassment at the workplace. But what do you think are the implementation rates for sexual harassment?
Implementation rates
for the laws, like enforcement of those laws?
There are no laws. And where they usually be saying that where there is no law, there is no sin. So, but then it doesn't mean that sexual harassment is not a crime, like I said. But the fact that we really don't have laws, and like I said, the Constitution, which is like the grand norm of our laws, already provides that anybody who loses his job as a result of sexual harassment should approach the National Industrial Court. So that means that the Constitution already recognizes this. So all we need is just for our state houses of assembly and even the National Assembly to just leverage on this provision of the Constitution and also bring out laws that will really make it so binding. But one issue we have in Nigeria is really implementation of laws. So it's not really in having the laws, but in the implementation of the laws. For example, during this coronavirus lockdown, do you know we had some time they said there should be no interstate travels, there should be total lockdown, but we still had people traveling because in fact sometimes the police officers are driving the buses and nobody will have the audacity to stop them. So it is not about having the laws but the implementation. But now that we don't even have the law, we can't really now talk of implementation. So what we should be talking about now is how we can have the laws in place so that people can be protected by the law. So for now, we really don't have laws, so we can't really talk of implementation. But despite that, we still have cases where people have gone to National Industrial Court to actually talk about sexual harassment at the workplace. But then they have just been awarded damages or compensation.
Alright, thank you very much. Can you also give us your final words on the topic?
Well, there can really not be a final word to sexual harassment, but basically, sexual harassment is something that should be frowned at. It's something that shouldn't be encouraged. It's something that nobody should just feel anybody's fault. It is very easy to blame the victim or even the penetrator for things like, but then we should always know that anybody that would even conceive it at all already has an issue. Because why should you just, you're in the workplace and you want to have something with someone against the person's consent, against the person's free will? It really doesn't make sense. It is not right. But we find ourselves in a society whereby it is even the things that are not right that we end up doing. So as much as possible, people should learn to speak out. Enough of, I don't want people to see me as a bad girl, I don't want people to see me as a bad boy. If you are being sexually harassed, please speak up. Please report. Even if the police are not doing anything, just ensure that you make sure you exhaust all your possible options. Go to the police, go to the courts, meet your lawyers. Like, this is a foundation that actually sees to things like this. Just come, I was sexually harassed and something like this. There are a lot of non-government organizations out there that are really passionate about sexual harassment, about rape and things like this. So why not meet them? Why not just tell them what you have gone through, what you are experiencing, and tell them that you really need justice to be done? Because we're actually in a period where people now understand that victims do not get the justice they're actually entitled to. That victims are not really, because of this public shaming of, I don't want people to see me like this. But enough of it, because the truth is, when you are not mentally and psychologically balanced, you will really not be balanced in other aspects of life. So why not just address that and just damn all consequences and say, no, I want to make sure that I get justice. And by doing that, you're not just helping yourself, but you're also helping others that would actually fall into that same category. Imagine you in a workplace and there's this particular person that has always been harassing people sexually, but nobody had the effrontery or audacity to talk and report. But you just came and the person is also harassing you and you just say, come, I can't accept this. And you actually go, you report, you do what you're supposed to do. That same person will not do to another person because you have been able to stop him and actually cut his wings. So that will also help others to have this peace of mind when they come to work again. So I believe people should learn to talk and we should stop, and also people should stop shaming people that talk. People should stop shaming victims because it actually takes a lot of courage to actually come out and talk about sexual harassment. Especially for the men. Imagine a man coming out and saying my female boss actually harassed me. Like, you'd be like, how is it? Imagine somebody saying he was raped and people were like, wait, did you not have erection? Like, it doesn't just make sense. So I think it is on the general public and also the victims. But first on the victim, irrespective of what the public will say, come out to talk. At least it will be on the sands of time that you came out to talk and that you actually registered your displeasure. So I think for now, that's all I'm saying.
Alright, thank you very much. So glad to have you here today.
Same here.
Alright, thank you very much to our viewers. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and share. Also, don't forget to click on the subscribe button. Thank you.